This is a standard PTE reading passage exploring European culture. Let's look immediately at the opening sentence and our first blank, where we need to choose between intention, concept, renovation, or identity. The text describes a historical period where a specific way of thinking about culture influenced social hierarchies and colonial structures. Because this sentence is defining the mental framework used by 18th century Europeans, we need a word that captures an overarching mental model. While identity and intention are grammatically possible, they don't encompass a broad historical framework of understanding. Renovation is even further afield, as it implies physical repair rather than a shift in thought. This leaves concept. In academic writing, concept of is a highly tested collocation, a predictable pair of words used to introduce a specific theoretical framework. Mastery of PTE reading relies on recognizing these invisible grammatical frameworks and academic pairings rather than relying on word-for-word translation. Moving to blank 2, notice the preposition into immediately following the empty space. Our options are cut, match, fit, and suit. The preposition acts as a filter. You do not match into or suit into a category. And while cut into is a common phrase, its meaning is strictly physical, which doesn't apply to the categorization of ideas mentioned in the text. This leaves fit. The phrase fit into is the standard way to describe how an item or idea is categorized. Blank 3 asks us to define the progressive refinement of human something. The choices are performance, events, habit, and behavior. The surrounding context describes culture as a form of cultivation, implying a long-term developmental process. Performance and events refer to momentary actions, which contradicts the idea of a progressive refinement over time. Between habit and behavior, there is a distinction in scale. While habit describes an individual's routine, behavior refers to general human conduct. Academic texts prefer the broader scope of human behavior when discussing cultural evolution. When synonyms appear nearly identical, the correct choice is often dictated by these standard academic pairings and the surrounding grammatical requirements. Blank 4 tests your ability to navigate discourse markers, the words that govern the logical connection between sentences. The sentence before the blank presents a broad theory, listing various elite activities like haute couture and classical music as hallmarks of culture. The clause following the blank describes a specific individual who argues that classical music is more refined than jazz or indigenous traditions. Pause the video here. Examine the options. For example, notwithstanding, however, whatsoever. Determine which one bridges these 2 points and why. The second sentence serves as a direct, real-world application of the broad theory stated previously. Because it illustrates the general point with a specific instance, we select for example and reject contrast markers like however. Identifying the correct discourse marker depends on mapping the structural relationship between a text's broad claims and its specific evidence. Finally, we reach blank 5. The subject is someone, and the blank is followed by a claim that classical music is superior to other forms. We can eliminate doubt because the context shows the subject is asserting the claim, not questioning it. Pretend and reveal are also unsuitable, as they don't match the objective, formal tone used throughout the passage. We select argue. In an academic context, this is the precise reporting verb used when a person puts forward a reasoned perspective. Let's summarize this into a repeatable strategy for your next practice session. First, look at the word immediately following the blank. Using prepositions as a filter allows you to instantly eliminate options that don't fit the grammatical structure. Second, prioritize high-frequency collocations like concept of, fit into, and human behavior. Memorizing these specific patterns is the most effective way to improve your speed and precision on the PTE.